Welcome to another installment of P Daddy's Watching the Movies So You Don't Have to. This week's film is titled Ruckus, a documentary about the life and struggles of Jose Vega. This film was created by Keaton Weiss and Russell Dabilar of the Dissonance podcast. Jose Vega is a young adherent of the LaRouche movement who created a stir, then a career, by shouting obscenities at politicians. According to Keaton and Russell, that makes him a quote-unquote revolutionary. My first complaint with this film has to do with the fact that when they interviewed him about his childhood, they totally glossed over the fact that Jose's parents went through a divorce, which consequently led him to live a life of poverty with his mother, whom struggled her whole life working menial jobs to put food on the table. Considering divorce is a very traumatic experience for a young child, I felt they should have asked more questions about the divorce, just so the audience can gain a better understanding of his personality development. Vega then talks about his views of humanity.
Classical culture is all about the ennoblement of the human soul and the ennoblement of the human mind and the human image. What does it mean to be a human being? That's all classical culture is about, whether it's in music or literature or paintings. That's what it's all about. What does it mean to be a human being? Why should you be happy to be alive? What does it mean to be alive? What are you going to do with your life? And what are you going to do to create something that will be immortal? That's what classical literature is about. You need to have a society that recognizes that being a human being is a good thing, inherently a good thing, that all people are created equal. And classical culture helps us understand that and realize that it's the way to get young people to understand why they're even here. Because who asks that question the most? It's teenagers. I didn't even ask to be born. Well, you are here, and here's why it's a good thing.
This type of conjecture always bothers me. The beauty or specialness of humanity is a mere opinion with no foundation. It's a belief that is developed simply to protect the individual from the death instinct and keeps at bay a state of cognitive dissonance where a person is conflicted between the meaning and meaninglessness of life. For Vega's sake, if he wants to keep his rose-colored glasses to view the nature of humanity, I suggest he not watch any Werner Herzog films. Further on, the film talks about Vega's struggle to make money off his landlord for allowing poopy water to leak down on his mother's apartment. The young, idealistic man called the local media to make a stink, no pun intended. Then he got some help from his local councilman. At one point, he was even offered $15,000 by a subordinate of the councilman. He was offered this money so he would stop pursuing a lawsuit against the landlord. He turned it down, wanting more money. The council assistant, who ostensibly offered the councilman's under-the-table hush money, was probably trying to help Vega. Landlords win nearly 90% of the time when it comes to these types of cases. Also, it's highly suspect why his mother wasn't offered the financial compensation, since it was her name on the lease. But let's say he was offered that money. Was it right for him to deny it, considering it was actually her apartment? Perhaps she wanted that money. Perhaps she was too beaten down by the system for so long that she was thankful for a break, for a gift, for some money that could help change the trajectory of her life. But no, Jose didn't care about that. He had a point to prove. He felt he was a hero. He was guided by his ego. Unfortunately, this predictably led to a rift in their relationship. Yup, once again, greedy aspirations tearing at the fabric of the family unit, a uniquely American tale as old as time. Next, the film goes on to go over in painstaking detail every encounter that Vega had with a politician. This film becomes a series of vignettes of every time he shouted at a person of power and influence, and Vega's words slowly become a litany of contrived platitudes. However, when he reminisces about his AOC town hall interruption, you actually see a glimmer of authenticity. It's when he talks about how his popularity grew because of it.
Completely blown away at like the reaction, and then it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and then Jesse Waters covered it on his show on Fox News, and then he had Tulsi Gabbard come on the show.
I don't know what happened to her or what she believes in.
The nauseating 1 hour and 10-minute film is very telling when the closing credits appear and you find out he's running for Congress. So after watching the whole damn thing, you find out it's actually a PR film to benefit his congressional run.
It's like somebody saying, I gotta show you something. They take on a 4-mile hike to show you a dog turd.
The subtitle of this documentary is The Making of a Revolutionary. It really should read The Making of an Internet Celebrity. How do any of these antics lead to a revolution? These tactics have been used by members of the LaRouche movement since the 60s. But have you taken a good look around? Has this type of thing, has it actually made a lick of difference in the last 60 years? This is what a real revolutionary looks like.
Every time I'm walking on the street, somebody's like, hey, vote for so-and-so. I'm like, it's all corrupt. Anarchy is the only way we're going to change anything. Violence. Kill a politician. That's the only way you can change shit.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're joking.
No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, voting is not going to make a difference. It has never. Not in 100 years.
So what would you like to see?
I'd like to see some politicians start getting murdered and reform this government.
Oh my God.
Do one that's not corrupted. I'd like to get business out of government, and they're not going to do it. So the only way to do this is start killing people.
Isn't that exactly what
Look around the world. How has anything changed around the world? How has any regime change happen around the world? Violence. That's the only way. Do you think people in Arab countries are that much different than us?
Yeah.
Violence. That's the only way you depose a system that doesn't represent the people anymore. No, not shoot them all. Start shooting them until they get business out of politics and they start representing who we are instead of their money interests. Yeah, violence. That's the only way shit changes, man.
Okay.
Look at history.
And even then, just as Roger Daltrey sang, you'll just end up meeting the new boss that's the same as the old boss. Overall, good flick. 5 out of 5 stars.